down to a little town below Eureka, and we toured Eureka, and then and my son ends up there, and we eventually got back to where we had started, and it was a great trip. It took a month, and it was we ate rattlesnake and saw things that most people don't see. You know, I mean, they don't take in the rainforest and Ferndale, which has all these great old houses. Anyhow, it's terrific. And so we were getting along very well, and that was all part of the honeymoon. And we did stuff like that. I took her to the Far East. I took her to I think it was Singapore, but I can't. I get mixed up because I've been to Hong Kong many times, and I've been to Singapore many times. So anyhow, we went to that place where we had a good time. There was lots of hawker stands. These are the stands that sell food, specialty food, out on the streets or in places that they congregate. And I don't know, we just did all sorts of things. We ate durian sitting on the floor, naked, with opening this thing that looks like a spiky football and smells like dirty sweat socks. But when you cut it open, there's a really great custard inside, and it's supposed to be an aphrodisiac. So we ate one of those. And we, you know, in fact, I ate more than one because I really liked them. And eventually, you know, we did stuff. So it was fun. It was good. And I didn't lose my temper altogether all the time. But I still was raging. And then after those first 4 years, the raging became worse, and it got to the point where I left her because I could not stand what was going on in the family that was so destructive, so dysfunctional. And I had this stepchild who was, you know, early teen, and I would yell at her for no reason. And anyhow, it was awful. I had to leave. And so I did. Susie didn't want me to. She said, I know you're crazy, because I made her see my psychiatrist before I would marry her. I said, I'm not marrying you until you talk to my psychiatrist and you know what you're getting into. She came out and she said, I know, and I'm going to marry you. And so we did. And we had a good life. And I took Gillian as my daughter, and I became the PTA father. I was a house husband for many years in that marriage. I was a consultant for a while, made money, and then Susie started making enough money that I didn't have to work anymore. It was a choice. Which of us would quit? You know, she could quit if she wanted to, or I could quit. And since she loved her job in the emergency room, she would never quit it. And she was making enough money to keep us going, so I quit. And I was a house husband. And that's one of the other jobs that I had along the way. And then when it got so bad that it was just unbearable, I left, and she still didn't want me to, but I left anyhow, because I couldn't see her going through that. And since then I've been single. I've had a lot of girlfriends. I continue to see Paulette, still to this day. Happily married woman, loves her husband, loves her children. The best thing that ever happened to her was when I cut out of there. Susie and I still keep in touch. She's going to see me next week or the week after, as soon as she can get her time free. And I'm going to give her back the wedding ring that we had, because we had them made special. They were maiden hair, lace, and forget-me-nots, and interwoven. Oh, it's beautiful. And she melted down Mexican gold to have this thing made specially for us by an artist. So, goldsmith. And yeah, so I still have that. I'm going to give it back to her when she comes out here. And unhappily, Gillian and I lost our relationship, and that's really sad. But Susie told me the last time I spoke to her that she says, you know, that you made it possible for Gillian to know her father, because Al would come out and he'd see Gillian, he'd pick her up, he'd take her to a movie, he'd bring her back to our place. They didn't talk, they didn't do anything. And he wouldn't come out that regularly. So the first time he did that and he came back, I said, okay, so when are you going to see Gillian again? What day next week? You're not going to get away with being an absentee father. You're going to be a father to this child. Because I know about those things. So, and he did. And Susie told me, she said, you know, that if it weren't for you, Al and Gillian would not have a relationship. Gillian would not have had a natural father. So, and they still see each other, and that's great. So I did some good things there. And I guess I have to say that with all of the bad and all of the mean things that I did, and the raging and the stuff that I had no control over, there was still a part of me that was sufficiently good, and people could see it, that I always had a very good girlfriend, and she knew what I was, and so I was a nice guy. When I was nice, I was really a nice guy. And I had many girlfriends who thought that way about me, and a few who didn't. Yeah. But no, basically, I got along well with people. And in fact, I got along so well with people that I was recruited to become the chair of Mensa, local GLAM, Greater Los Angeles Area Mensa. GLAAM, I don't know. And they gave me a handmade plaque for how well I had been, how good I had been as the chairman, which I was for 2, and they could have kept me going forever as far as they were concerned. Because all I was interested in is getting the work done and consensus, and let's not argue. And that's what I pushed for, and get it done quickly. And so I made friends, and I had many, many, many friends in Mensa. And I rejoined so that they would give me an obituary. I just rejoined them within the last year. And yeah, so I actually finally came to understand that I wasn't all bad, you know, like I thought I was, and that there were a lot of people who really did like me, and even if I was ornery and contrarian and all the rest of it. And so that's helped in these latter years to understand that. And like I said, I haven't raged really in years and years. And it's made life much, much better, much better. So with each person that I was with for any length of time, they could see through the bad and the raging, which I couldn't control, and that crazy mania that put me in a bad space, and they could see that I was really a very decent person. Susie and I celebrated every month the day